Hi gamers, it's SFG here and we're doing a quick look at Shadows of Forbidden Gods. I say quick, it might not be a quick video, but hopefully it will be, more quick enough. We're going to be taking a look at the She Who Will Feast, the first god that's unlocked, the sort of almost intro god if you like to the game. So this is going to be a bit of a tutorial video, how to play with her, what her strengths are, how to potentially win with her. Maybe what to avoid doing with her, where that's particularly apt. We're going to go through a couple of things. So we're going to start now looking at the Supplicant and the different traits for them. We're going to take a look at the powers that she gains, and then we're going to have a look what happens when she awakens to, and we're going to take a quick look at that, and then I'll come on to the sort of strategies that I suggest using when you're playing as her, what she lends into well, what maybe she doesn't. And then I'm going to sort of tell you where perhaps maybe things to avoid when you're playing with this. So that's going to be the sort of theme of this video, guys. So jumping straight in here with the Supplicant first. So obviously the Supplicant starts for all the gods, apart from Minerva, of course, but in the Elder 2, or the equivalent to the Elder 2, depending on which god you're playing. And they level up straight away, or they have traits to gain straight away. So let's click on those and take a look now. So there's 3 traits here. There's Conduit, the Dying Light, and Martyr for the Dark, as you can see. Conduit is whenever this agent completes a shadow challenge, gain 2 power, cannot exceed your maximum power. That's not a bad ability, to be honest, although how often are you going to be doing any shadow challenges? You've got covens to do them, you've got cities and towns. I think that's pretty much it, so not a ton of opportunities to do that, but it is something potentially, if you're going to lean into the shadow game, that is something you'll be doing a lot, so worth looking at potentially. You've got the Dying Light, increase any human settlement shadow by 1% per turn while you're there. No menace gain from that, and I don't think that's a bad ability. This is one I tend to take. I know it'll take, if they survive for most of the game, you'll get, 100, 200% shadow, 300 maybe out of it. But it can tick up that, guys, just by doing standard challenges in a location, and it can reduce the need to actually in-shadow as well. Lends itself probably better to almost a natural shadow spread game, but I'll come on to that in the tactics. And then the final one is Martyr for the Dark. So obviously, as it suggests, when killed in a human settlement, every point of interest is infiltrated, forgive me. So obviously there you're going to want to use that in a city, right? A particularly difficult city to crack. And once all the points of interest are infiltrated, you can then shadow it. I don't like this one as much. The main reason is if you're playing as I do with the Alliance purging shadow and infiltration, that can be removed just so easily. So it also means the agent has to die, which isn't always a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but the Supplicant tends to be one of the strongest of your agents. They level up very quick, they get this trait, and then they level up pretty quick afterward as well, so you can increase, Might 2, Lore 2, Intrigue can go up to 5, Command up to 4. Pretty good all-round stats, right, for for an agent, so you don't really want to lose a Supplicant if you can hold on to them. So I'm not that I dislike this, but I think this is probably the least useful in my opinion, the way I play. I much prefer to lean into these two. Of these two, I prefer the Dying Light because it's just it's pretty much always going to be doing something for you. You're going to be using your Supplicants to generally do work in human settlements. So having that is just a passive bonus, right? So that tends to be the one that I pick. And when you pick one of these, it'll pop up on their display here which one you've chosen. Okay, so right, let's take a look through the powers, guys. I'll load up a game where I've actually, a game is over now, but it's, I've got a lot further through the game. We could take a look at all the powers, and I'll give you when they unlock, what they do, which ones I think are best, which ones I think are worse. So, on to the next piece of this video. Okay, guys, so I've come into a game that I've already won. I've won it a bit early, and actually the final seal hasn't broken. What we're going to go through is we're going to go through the different seals. We're going to go through what happens at each of those seals. We've got a very opportune time, actually. And then we're going to go through what powers are unlocked, what the power gain of the god is as well. And we'll go through the different powers in detail after that. So there are 9 seals total, as you can see here. And you need to unlock all of those to awaken. Okay? And it tells you when the next one will unlock here. The first, so you start with 0 seals unlocked. You start with 2 agent slots. You can fill with whatever agents you wish. One of them is a Supplicant, of course. You can fill the other one with whatever you wish. Obviously, as long as you've unlocked the requirements and so on, right? So no survivors, no baronesses. You have a 3% power gain a turn as well. Okay. You also have the ability Cloud Senses, and we'll come on to the powers in a second. After 12 turns, you break seal 1, then you gain 7% power a turn, and you gain another ability called Eyes in the Shadows, and that is a fantastic ability, guys. Turn 24, your second seal breaks. You have 10% power gain a turn. You gain another agent slot, and you gain the skill Fleeting Servant. On turn 44, you break your third seal, 14% power gain, and you have Dangers in the Dark. Less of a useful ability, but still quite cheeky. There's some things you could do with it. Turn 72, your fourth seal breaks, 17% power gain a turn. You get another agent slot, so you're up to 4 then, and you get an ability called Split Shadow, which is probably the best ability that She Who Will Feast has. We'll come to that. Seals 5, 6 and 7 are a little bit boring. There's no extra... In fact, to be honest, all the rest of the seals are a little bit boring in my opinion. There's no more powers after that, guys. That's it. So you get Cloud Senses, Eyes in the Shadows, Fleeting Servant, Danger in the Dark, Split Shadow. And that's it. That's all you ever get with She Who Will Feast, which is a bit peculiar in my opinion. So the 5th seal breaks at 108, the 6th seal at 152, these are turns, the 7th seal at 204, and then you get an extra agent slot is about the most interesting thing there. The 8th seal at turn 264, and then the 9th seal, as we can see here, breaks at turn 375. Okay? We get another agent slot, so we'll have, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our God awakens as well. She Who Feast awakens. Okay, let's go through the powers real quick, and then we'll come on to the awakening. So the powers here, Cloud Senses is the first power that you start with. That's your one that's unlocked to begin with. Okay, and it's a 1 cost power. It's not the most amazing thing in the world, to be honest. This could be a little bit better, but it's something to use your power on in the early game. So what happens with this is, as it says there, the eyes fog and the ears ring. Progress is difficult with these distractions, but it's maddeningly impossible to find their source. So you click this, you click a hero, and that hero loses 10 progress towards their task. Okay, so I think it's only heroes. Must be performing a challenge, right? Okay. I wonder, can I target a ruler? No, they're not considered units. You could do this on your own agents. I'm not sure why you would. Maybe to slow them down potentially. So look, she's got 1 turn left to combat banditry. If I do this, she'll lose all her progress, right? 3 turns. Not major, but you could do this on any apart from the chosen one, any hero. So let's see if we've got anybody else that's doing it. Doesn't work on combat. It doesn't stop them doing combat. Or it doesn't do anything if they're not doing a challenge. So complete train, that only takes 10 turns too. Let's have a little look here. Going to perform challenges. Right, redeeming, look. So 5 turns left. I've made 6 progress. I can wait till that skips ahead a bit, and then I can undo all of it, which would be a bit of a pain for them. It obviously doesn't work on guarding heroes as well if they're guarding someone. Rest and respawn. Again, you can do that, but it's such a short quest. It's almost a bit pointless. Can be good with things like this, like mediate politics, although they've got 9 a turn, that's a bit silly. I could also do it on this deep one, calls if I wish, call member, fish person. So you get the idea there, right, guys? You use this ability, it slows down heroes. It's okay, right? You'd use it in the early game. As soon as you get Eyes in the Shadows, it's dead to you, to be honest. Eyes in the Shadows is amazing. It's a 2 cost, always, right? And it gives you, as it says there, they're always watching us, always. Boost infiltration in the selected location. So you can only be cast on locations that have got no infiltration. So if I click this, I don't know if we've got any here, actually, honestly. I think I've infiltrated quite literally every location. Oh, there we are. City of Plormare, right. So select this, it'll infiltrate the library because that's the point of interest on the lowest. I couldn't then do this again, right. So if I wanted to try and look, Eyes in the Shadows, it won't let me do it again because it has some infiltration. So you still have to infiltrate the other bits of the location, but great for your single points of interest, right? Your villages, your forts, your cathedrals, your holy sites, anything like that are just so much easier to... Well, actually, no, sorry, holy sites aren't always 1 point of interest now. They do have catacombs in them, I believe, but if they've only got 1 point of interest, very, very easy to infiltrate with this power. You know, it's a 1 cost. It's a 2 power cost, but you instantly gain the points of interest, which is fantastic. This city, I could have done it on as well. There's no requirement for it to have any shadow. No, literally no requirement apart from that. So this guy is really, really useful for spreading the shadow. But we'll come to the strategies soon. Dangers in the dark is kind of fun as well. So you cast this. It's not something I think you're going to use too much. It's not the most powerful ability, and it competes with Eyes in the Shadows. But once you've infiltrated all the sites, maybe you want to give Dangers in the Dark a little go. Can be useful to upset heroes a bit. So what happens with this is, I wonder, should we cast this and then wait for Split Shadow to charge? I think we will. So we'll cast this now, then I'll do a few more turns, wait for Split Shadow. But we cast this, and what happens is, the danger, as it says there, the danger of all quests and neutral, forgive me, challenges at this location increased by 7. Okay? So there is a limitation. It can only be cast on locations with shadow greater than 50%, right? The fluff text there, something moves in the dark, stalking those who make the mistake of venturing into natural blackness. That, or the dark itself, swirls with this unnatural life and takes forms of its own to strike at the intruders. So you press this, and we're going to find a suitable location here. What's this person doing? You're moving. Is there anybody actually? There's somebody about to complete a challenge here, I think. You? Yeah, there we are, 5 turns. That'll work. Okay, we'll do this. So select it here. It's got greater than 50% shadow. Select this. This now has, if we click on this and we look at the challenge list, the quest list is probably more useful because it's for heroes, generally. Look, danger, danger, danger 7. And you can stack this. Yeah, I could cast this again, danger 14. Cast it again, danger 21. And just keep bumping up the dangers to crazy numbers. I've actually used this to kill heroes in the past when it's got really high. But it was more just me messing about, to be honest. So danger will deal damage to heroes, and I think it affects neutral. Oh, that's annoying. It affects neutral challenges for our agents. So you've got to be careful with this. You don't want to cast it on, well, look, markets, right? Because if you want to buy an item, well, it's potentially going to hurt you then. Potentially going to hurt the agent. So you've got to be careful where you cast this, potentially. But if we let a few turns skip by now, this person's going to potentially take some damage when they complete the task. It can hit their minions as well, but if it's stacked very high, okay, we're not too interested in that, you can kill them. Okay, they're dead, whatever. Go away, oh my word. Here, so this is what happens. Hero encounters added danger. Mage Comp Lobby Suisse has encountered additional dangers by performing Quest Redeem Mediator. Cyber Suis caused by your actions and has taken 2 damage. Okay, that's weak, right? 1 damage is dealt to minions, 1 damage is dealt to the mage. So yeah, no minions are killed, the mage wasn't killed. As it said, the hero's going to be killed if you've added danger to it. They'll be prepared for ordinary anticipated danger as well. So they've taken, this mage taken 1 damage, it's nothing. But consider that I think the damage is a random variation between, it's always I think 1 as a minimum, but it's between 1 and the maximum, right? If I'd stuck 21 danger on this, you could easily kill a hero, right? Because it could deal something like 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it did 14 damage at once. Hero is just gone straight away. See you later. And when it deals that damage, there's a 50% chance that the danger will reduce by that amount. So in this case, there's a 50% chance that the danger now drops to from 7 to 5, right? And again, the next hero that does this can also potentially take damage. I think it also bypasses the defense too. Yeah, as you can see, it's just gone straight to the hit points there. Same for minions. So it can be, if you stack this, guys, in key locations, it can be quite good. The way to use this ability really is to stack it in potential, because you don't need to have infiltrated, as you can see, right? So you can stack this on places where the Alliance or the Chosen One are starting to work. It still hurts the Chosen One, this. I'm pretty sure. I might have to check that actually, but I'm fairly confident it still hurts the Chosen One. So you can put this in locations where they're doing a ton of work against you. And guess what? They could just die naturally, right? Which is pretty funny. So it's an interesting power. Let's dismiss this. You've got Split Shadow, which is my, without question, favourite power of this god. So this creates another agent, and it's slightly limited, but very little. So as it says, watching a person with no shadow is uncanny, unnerving. The eyes immediately see something is wrong, but can't tell what without thinking about it. Far more terrifying, of course, is seeing a shadow without a person. So basically, you rip the shadow from a person. They can there's two ways they can sort of work, if you like. It creates a shadow agent, so they have the stats of the hero that you take it from. The shadow can be controlled like an agent, but loses health every turn it's not near its parent, so the hero. And that's in the same or an adjacent location to that hero, or in a location with shadow above 50%. I often like to use this, but do it here, look. On lore, this isn't a mage with 3 lore, get out of here. But on lore heroes, and then I use them to just propagate shadow. So I just go, Well of Shadows, right? Cast Well of Shadows, happy days, cast Malign Catch, job, good job. It's quite funny actually, because these shadows can have their own little experiences and have their own events and things, and people can fall out with them and all sorts. So it's it can be quite funny. But they're a free agent. I mean, I could even use this agent to attack this hero if I wished. They obviously wouldn't win, right? They've got minions, they've got health, they've got items and so on. See that the health's less. The attack is 3, defense is 2. The person I stole it from has got 6 and 2, right? So they're obviously going to win. But if you need to finish someone off, you can rip the shadow, attack them. Or the best way in terms of just getting the most value out of the shadow is to keep it alive as long as you can and just use it to do all these lore tasks. That was my favourite way. The reason I chose Well of Shadows is because you're further spreading where it can go, right? It can then move to the next location, do it again, and then suddenly it can move, pretty much all around the map and do whatever you need it to do. Also can be useful for getting the old fish people, although you got to watch that shadow. But pretty much any task here, guys, can be ever so useful just by having this. It's an extra agent slot as well, right? It doesn't count towards your agents, so you can have, in this I could have 5 agents here plus this shadow if I wished, which is crazy. And as we said, you get this fairly early on. It's turn 72, right? So from turn 72 onwards, you can have an extra agent than any other god, in effect, right? As long as you look after them, treat them, and careful with them. Absolutely, I love it, guys. Really, really great ability. Really thematic. The final ability here is Fleeting Servant. This for me is a trap, right? I rarely get any success out of this. But the idea of this is, as it says, you create a Fleeting Servant modifier on a given location as a distraction. Heroes will believe it to be a threat, it has 30 profile and 50 menace, and may engage in a short quest to defeat it, wasting their time and efforts, right? So it's 3 costs to maybe waste some heroes' time on something. For me, and I suppose the benefit of this over Cloud Senses, I was going to say Cloud Senses is just better than this. You can just delay a hero, right? But it can be a little bit better. It can take them longer. It also can, they need to move potentially to it. It can be 30 profiles, so it could be seen 3 hexes away, 3 locations away rather, so it can draw heroes to them. But for 3 power, it's not my favourite. Maybe if it had some sort of innate danger, that would be a good way of doing it, I think, as well. So if it came with danger 7, like Dangers in the Dark, something like that, just to give it a little bit more oomph, do you know what I mean? Something a bit more tasty about it, I think would be better. Obviously, it can only target a location. The location can be anywhere on the map. I think even in the sea and so on. But in my experience, it's okay in the early game, but generally, I think the hero is going to be doing other things, certainly towards the mid and late game, because 50 menace and 30 profile just ain't that big a deal to them. They're like, well, who cares? Your agents have probably got more menace and profile than that, so they're never going to focus this unless they literally can't see your agents or anything else more threatening, all of everything else they have to do, right? So not one of my, I would not use this too often, to be honest, guys. If you're looking to win, I mean, by all means play with it, see how you get on, you might find it better. And the fluff text, it's hard to tell which the real enemies are and what are just tricks of the light as the shadows dance and the candle flickers, which is a nice thing. But you get this one in slot 2, so on turn 24. I'd be careful about using this too much, guys, to be honest. In that sort of part of the game, you're probably using Eyes in the Shadows, really. And just that, for me, I think. But it's an option. I mean, if you, as I said, give it a go, see how you get on. Feel free to disagree in the comments if you think this is actually a good ability. But I've never managed to. I've used it a couple of times. Sometimes it's wasted a couple of turns of heroes, but for 3 power, I think there's so much better things to do, right? You can drive them insane, you can disrupt them with Cloud Senses anyway, you could just get infiltration, you know what I mean? It's just not very attractive a thing for me, but it's an option there. Now, this brings me on, I'm going to quickly talk about this before I move on. This 5 is not enough powers for me for any god. Right? You get the last power, Split Shadow, you get that turn 72, and then you get no extra powers. And I think this, to be fair, I believe Bobby is aware of this and is looking to change it, but for me there needs to be at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 extra powers here for poor She-Wolf Feast. I know she's supposed to be the kind of entry god, the most simple to use, but I still think there's some sort of gameplay niches that could be used here, utilised, and maybe, we'll come on to strategies with her, but she's designed to be a sort of shadow, primarily spreading god. She operates in the shadow. She can, she operates in the shadow here. She can split shadows, etc. Why not give her an ability that maybe just helps wards crumble, breaks down wards a bit easier, just so that shadow spread quicken, or even to spread shadow. I suppose infiltration does that, right? Technically, eyes in the shadows, but to create a pseudo well of shadows or something. Or even to buff your agents when they're in shadow, give them extra attack or defense, sort of like the Baroness, something like this. Anything just to give her a bit more, I think would be really, really useful. These powers are, like I say, apart from maybe Fleeting Servant, all of these powers, and maybe Cloud Sensors, these 3 powers are good. Cloud Sensors and Fleeting Servant, I'm not as sure on. But it's not enough, right? There needs to be a little bit more. And yeah, Split Shadow is cool, but there's games where I'll use that once and I won't use it again for 50, 100 turns. There's only so many eyes in the shadows and danger in the dark you can do before you're like, I want something else, right? So I'd like to see more powers added here. I couldn't tell you exactly what I would. Like I said, maybe something to remove wards or destroy wards a little bit, or tick them down. Maybe something to force shadow spread. Maybe something to buff your agents in shadow. Yeah, I think there's a fair few things you could do with her. Maybe something to just dump shadow on a hero, like the Harvester. There's loads of things, right, that she could do. But I think it'd be good if she had a couple more abilities. Anyway, guys, let's get to this awakening. You can see what happens when she fully awakens, because that is really cool. How many turns we've got? We've got 2 turns, so we're going to skip to this. Well, we'll just do it live here, or we'll skip to this now. So watch this space here. Right, got awakened. The She-Wolf Feast will one day grow to devour the entire world. But newly born, she is weak and can be killed by mortal hands. She'll grow constantly and can be used to assault human forces, but be warned, you will lose if she is killed. Well, I've already won, so it doesn't matter. But your maximum power increases, you gain another agent slot, so we've got 6 agent slots now, 7 plus our shadow. Or you can see her here, she is our She-Wolf Feast. So what happens is she erupts from the Elder Tomb and does damage in an area all around, as you can see. Looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes to me. What's happened here? Population's gone down by 30. Looks like it's done a bit of damage to this location. I'm not sure exactly what. Doesn't say. That's curious. I'm pretty sure it's done some damage here. Maybe increase the temperature, thereby reducing. But look, it's destroyed this location. Old Raya. Deacon's Bay is just rubble now. Has this taken any damage? A little bit. But it does damage around it, as you can see, right? So it blasts around it. So if you get the Elder Tomb near like a lot of civilization, this can be devastating just to start with. And as you can see here, we have a little army. And it is little to start with. She-Wolf Feast, Bless of the Dark. 27 out of 27. Now, and I should mention this, the Elder Tomb, for all gods at the minute, but certainly for She-Wolf Feast, I think it's going to continue, is enshadowed and it continually spreads shadow, right? You want to make sure, when you're playing a She-Wolf Feast, that you enshadow the areas around her. The reason you want to do this is because when she's born, she's weak. And if these locations aren't enshadowed and they don't like her, well, guess what? In the part of the Alliance, they're going to attack her, right? They're going to come down and try and stomp her. That can be very, very risky. So, worth investing in a bit of... Like, if this army came for her now, trouble. What's her profile? 0-0. Okay, so we're okay for now, but she does... I've heard of other players where they've kind of spawned... She spawned and then immediately has been dumped on by a load of armies and they have to run away with her, which seems really silly to me. Like, that's not the point of She-Wolf Feast. But I'll skip ahead and we'll see what happens here, guys. So she'll slowly gain power. She'll go from 27 to, whatever. She'll increase by 2 a turn, it looks like. Let's go away. Go away. That was 3, it seemed like to me. But she increases by so much a turn, and then slowly she gets more and more and more and more powerful, so you can start raiding and attacking the forces of humanity, right? She also regenerates health. Slowly but surely, so let's get her a bit more. Okay, we'll do this. So look, she's got no profile on menace, 38, strength against 24. No, watch, I'm going to try and ruin this fort. Okay. Whatever, go away. So you're going to see now, look, 41. She doesn't take any damage from ruining the fort. I think that's silly. Maybe thought she should do damage, but whatever. She's ruining this fort, now destroying it. This army will come and attack her in a second, I think. There we go. He did 3 damage, go away. Oh my word. You battle. 18, so we're going to win this, right? But as you can see, the army is pretty quick to react. I mean, she's going to beat this down big time, but... Oh, I should also mention, because obviously, of course, it is a battle. Watch this. We can create a... Who do I want? Where are you? I'll take you. Come here. Word, so many people getting upset. What's she doing? Escape. Because... Is it still alive? Oh, it's going to die next turn anyway, but you can command the battle, right? And then you can make her even stronger in the battle. So look, she's got 48 out of 53 health, but she's slowly ticking up health and ticking up. Yeah, she's still gaining power, as it were. But he would actually, though, let's do that, dismiss that. Yes, that's how unfortunate, guys. But he would have given her a command bonus there in that attack, which would have helped. So you could then use her, as you can see, to go around picking off the weaker nations. Be aware, look, this is fully enshadowed, both the queen, everything, right? But they still attack back. They're not just going to let you eat them, right? So be aware that even in shadowed locations will attack her. I think even the Dark Empire, if you start eating it, will attack her. Like, you know, they ain't going to let themselves get eaten, guys. But she is quite powerful at all. So you keep raising this. Let's see how long this takes. He can just, I don't know, you can go here, perhaps. And political gridlock, whatever. Right, so she's rising, slowly but surely this location will be destroyed. Is it when defense drops to nothing, I think? Oh my word, I'm actually doing things in this game, what the hell's going on? Malign catch, go away. Right, so this is going to go pretty soon, I think. The starving and so on, the death is going up and that. But you can use her to go around munching and destroying the smaller nations. If you attack a big nation, she's going to get dogpiled hard. Let's jump into this one. And let's follow with my agent. Oh, okay, well, this is a good case in point. Attack that army. You command the battle attacking, watch. So he's joined that, dismiss, go away. Look, she's taking some hefty damage now. Even with the command. How do we view the battle? We click on her. View battle. Right, she's going to lose this, right? 21 damage versus 30. She does 11, they'll do 19. Right, you can see which way this is going, but as you can see, you've got to be careful with it. Don't just run her into some really strong army because you'll get absolutely blatted. And the reason the army is so strong here is because this is a big city, presumably. Yep, 183, and it's very prosperous though. So boost that army. You can always run, right? I could just go, okay, stuff this, I'm going here. I could run away. Nothing wrong with that. It'll still chase me, I think this army will. I know it's not, tell a lie. But yeah, it's just, be careful. If she dies, you lose the game. Right, so do be, unless you've already won, of course. But yeah, do be careful. So if she dies, you lose a game if you haven't won already. So do be careful with the guys. But that's the awakening with her. That is fun. Now this I do like. You get 10 power as well. But I do like this because she suddenly... Well, it's the only thing like it in the game where you have like literally the god coming just to wreck everything. Which that's a cool mechanic, right? It's a really cool mechanic. So I do like that about She-Who Feast actually. So let's skip to I've kind of witted on quite a bit about these powers now, guys. Let's talk about the different tactics that we can use with She-Who Feast. And maybe some of the things that I don't think she's as strong at. So in terms of tactics then, She-Who Feast is obviously, in my opinion, focused around shadow spread, right? She's got powers that directly work better or in the shadow. Only. She's got powers that can misdirect heroes. She's built to be spreading shadow. And given the way the tomb works, as I mentioned earlier, you want, as a first port of call, I would suggest you just infiltrate all the nearby settlements to the tomb. That'll mean that at least when she's born, she's fairly safe, because this shadow spread will hopefully get them in shadowed. If you're struggling with shadows, do give it a little bit of a boost from your agents, use them to help spread the shadow further. But it can be a really good idea just to infiltrate as many locations as possible. Just infiltrate everywhere, using that eyes in the shadows, using your infiltrating agents as well, and get that shadow spread really pumping. I think this game is pretty much entirely won by shadow spread. Victory. Enshadowed, yeah, look. Enshadowed rulers and heroes, 39, right? It's the majority of my points in this game. However, because she's kind of the starting god and she's designed to be flexible, she's actually quite good at a number of other tactics as well. So because, she becomes an army, there's nothing stopping you leading into orcs with her as well. You can focus on orcs. You can get the orcs built up, and you can go the warfare route if you wish and try and conquer the world. She can absolutely do that because she is in herself an army. You can, of course, shadow plus army equals Dark Empire, right? And she's quite good at that as well, especially with her supplicant traits, giving that benefit to passive to shadow spread. You can, or to your pair if you're using shadow, but you can use her to make a large Dark Empire. You can use those forces in conjunction with her to just ruin the world. You can use deep ones. I've used in this game to fairly good effect. She doesn't tie in the best with them. Shadow does, I think, reduce the likelihood of heroes attacking them or doing anything about them. Let's check that actually. I don't think they can even see them. Look. Let's have a look for a shadows a bit closer to some deep ones, see if we can't destroy deep ones, I think it's called. Looks like they can't even see them on this one. I must have been doing a good job in keeping them well hidden. Yeah, I can't see it, so I assume it makes it weaker, but I could be telling lies. But either way, she can go into that. She's not the strongest by any stretch of God going into deep ones if you're going to try and focus that strategy, but she can do. So she can work with orcs, she'll work with the whole army, the warfare type game. She can very much work into the intrigue and the shadow spread game too. Madness is a bit of a weakness for her, in my opinion. She's got the normal tools for madness that every god has. So she's got events, she has malign catch that you can cast at various locations to spread madness, but it doesn't massively synergize with her particularly. She hasn't got any, there's no major benefit to using madness apart from what madness naturally brings. So for example, if I were to bring the harvester into this game, I would use the harvester with, where is he? Can I make him anywhere? Here, Bollocks? Yeah, sweet. But I'd make him with the Hell Sin. I'd use the shadow, right? Absolutely use the shadow here. Just start that shadow spread because she synergizes better, right? You can use that better to spread your aura, as it were, and then destroy the world when you're good and ready. Of course, throw into these whatever particular brand of evil you like, right? If you like having plagues, lob a plague in there, right? Do it away from your assets. Don't do it on your Dark Empire's doorstep, of course. But, if you want to throw a plague in, throw a plague in. Or whatever, like I said, if you want to go into... the magic race, of course, is the other one. Now, she can work okay with magic. She's not the best god, again, for working with magic because she has a very... the best way she can disrupt agents is using the shadow, which is 5 cost, and that's fairly expensive, in my opinion, to disrupt. Aster equivalent is 3. You can delay them getting sequence, but that's only so useful with Cloud Senses, but that's only so useful, guys. However, actually, Eyes in the Shadows is very helpful for quick infiltrating libraries if they're the bottom. Right, if they're at the bottom, you can use it just rapid. Let's see if we can find one. Not there. There you are. So if I just, infiltrate this with Eyes in the Shadows, that library's done. I can just get a Warlock in there, bam. I can grab the Arcane Secret straight away. So she can be quite good for that, sneaking in the Arcane Secrets. But obviously, whenever you're using something like Magic or Plague or anything quite disruptive like that, keep it away from where you want your sort of assets to be. The Dark Empire works pretty well with her as well because of the shadow spread and the ease of shadow spread and the way that you can protect your shadow spread with dangers in the dark. And of course, you can always supplement the might of your Dark Empire with She Who Will Feast. Okay, I think one of the main weaknesses I see with her is just until she awakens, that period between, what is it, seal 4, guys, and seal 9. That's 5 slots of not getting any powers. It's from turn 72 to 375. It just feels a bit boring. You're doing the same stuff. That's what I don't like about it. I think that could be improved. Hopefully Bobby gets the chance to do that at some point. I know he's working very hard getting other bits and pieces in the game, so you shouldn't pester him too much. And we'll see. There might be some new mechanics that make She-Wolf particularly good at manipulating and using those. I think something called Holy Orders is coming out in the near-ish future, not the next major patch, the one after, the beta, I suspect, for the next patch, if that makes sense. And yeah, they might bring quite a few interesting changes that completely tweak how she plays and the power that I think she has. But she's a very fun goddess, just to kind of go, right, I just want to classic, make everywhere evil, eat the world, ruin the world. Or I just want to conquer the world. No, she can play into these, which I think is really cool. Be aware, though, if you do play with orcs, obviously they can restrict shadow spread. So the more you spread orcs, the less potentially shadow spreads, that right? So because they don't spread it onto adjacent locations, you need to come from somewhere else. So do be aware of that. If this was, this entire nation was orcs, it wouldn't be as in shadowed. Although there would be probably a lot of dead settlements there, which wouldn't hurt us at all. But yeah, guys, so do be aware of that as well. It's, you've got to sort of play to your strengths and try and tie those things in. So you don't want to be doing your powers, or you can't do some of these powers as well if you're looking to do orcs too. But yeah, she's quite a flexible goddess with a variety of playstyles. She's, I think, really good for new players because obviously she introduces the core mechanics of the game fairly nicely and steadily. It's all about shadowing, infiltrating, being subtle. Even when she awakens, she's weaker, so you kind of got to be, you can't just go, whoa, straight in there, start eating things. You've got to be a bit, hold on, take it easy. And of course, the more groundwork you've done to ruin the world before she awakens, the more chance you've got of her not getting killed when she does. Oh, that's something I should mention, agent-wise. So let's have a look at agents real quick, actually, on this. So she works with pretty much any of the agents really well. I would say generally want Hierophants to start with, or Warlords, depending on if you're going for the War or the Intrigue type game. Warlocks I tend to leave with her until the mid-ish game. You get a lot, as you can see, of heroes to corrupt, potentially with her because of the shadow spread. The Monarch obviously works pretty well with her too. The Plague Doctor can work well with anyone, I think, but can work particularly with her. But the standout is the Baroness, right? The shadow spread from this god naturally just makes the Baroness a very, very powerful asset, and it's much easier, I think, to break down those convents with shadow with her because she's just naturally, she has the tools to spread shadow quite easily, particularly when your Supplicant can just do it 1% just by sitting in there, right? It can become difficult for the heroes to keep up. So yeah, just a quick look at the agents there too, guys, who that can work well with her. Anyway, that's She-Wolf Feast, quick tutorial. If you've got any questions, guys, if you've got any suggestions, things that you like to do differently, maybe you play better than I, maybe you've got some ideas that I've left out, maybe you disagree with what I've said, you think, no, she's absolutely great for the Madness game, SFG, you just haven't realised this, let me know in the comments below, please, feel free. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, please, guys. If you watch my videos and you haven't yet subscribed, please do consider it. It really, really helps the channel out, especially when you're as small as me. I can't overestimate that enough to you guys. It's a massive boon. Really keen to get to 1,000 if I can. So everybody that subscribes, thank you ever so much. And hopefully, cross your fingers and your toes. I will see you on the next video. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the next video will likely be an update video. We'll see what the new changes of the new update brings. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.